Right, hi guys, welcome back to the Moaning Yorkshireman and welcome back to the Love-Hate Relationship series. In this episode I'm going to be discussing the 5 race circuits that I've personally visited that I absolutely adore. Whether it be for the atmosphere, the race circuit itself, or the results that we achieved there. It's just going to be 5 circuits in no particular order that I absolutely love, and if I could go back in a heartbeat, I would. I just love them. So the first one is Assen in Holland. Now, Assen is normally known for its bikes, but we used to go there for a season or a championship support race called the Gamma Race Day, which for English people is Gamma Racing Day. Yeah, we used to be the support for that, and wow, that was a spectacle. You used to have an air display from a Red Bull stunt plane that used to go over. That was amazing. You had the Red Bull F1 car, normally with David Coulthard driving, that used to go and do donuts at the end of the pit lane. Now, we used to get the garages as well, which used to be a fantastic bonus, because normally you used to have to put up an awning at the side of the truck and run out of that for the weekend, and that used to take forever to put up. So when you used to come in on a Thursday, knowing you'd got a garage and all you had to do was lay some flooring down and stick a bit of bullshit boarding up and away you go, that was a nice feeling. But we were in the pit lane, so when all of these flybys were happening and when all the cars were doing the donuts and they had stunt bikes during this lunch break as well, we could stand on the pit wall and watch, stick our heads out and watch this spectacle happen, and wow, it was amazing. But it was a race day for the fans, it definitely was. There was so many support racers. We obviously used to be in Formula Renault 2 litre, so you had some single seaters there. There was bike racing, which was really fun to watch. There used to be the sidecar racing, you know, the one where the bloke leans over at the back to steer. Then there was the supercarts, you know, the really big mental go-karts with the rear wings on the back. There was obviously us, and then there was also some touring cars, some like GT sort of touring cars, like M3 BMWs and stuff like that. And then to top it all off, the spectacle of the show was the Boss GP. Now, if no one knows what the Boss GP is, it's basically a load of rich bankers or just generally rich people that have bought an F1 car and gone, yeah, I'll race that, why not? And they had all sorts on the grid. And yeah, it was a fantastic spectacle to watch. And hearing the V8s and the V10 engines, and even the V12s in some cases, was absolutely amazing. So you had like Toro Rossos, you had the Jaguar F1 car from 2004, there was a 2006 Super Aguri, 97 Benetton I think there was, as well as some GP2, GP3 cars from over the years, some old Formula Renaults, just all sorts just piled on this grid. And it was just some rich blokes just having a bit of a laugh. It was a really, really good circuit. I enjoyed it so much there, going there every year. And the Dutch were so friendly as well, so that made it a lot easier in terms of getting into the paddock. Oh, I forgot my pass. Oh, I'll get in anyway. You know, it was just such a really friendly atmosphere and a fantastic weekend. The grandstands were packed, so you could hear the fans cheering, and yeah, brilliant. Absolutely, I'd loved it. I'm sure there'll be videos of it on YouTube's over the years, especially if you look for the Formula Renault NEC YouTube page. There'll be videos on it when they used to live stream the races. So don't just check the races out, just see the spectacle around it. See all the fans in the grandstands wearing all the orange Gamma hats. Amazing. So next up on this list we have the Red Bull Ring. Now, we never really had any good results at the Red Bull Ring, unfortunately, but the circuit is why this is on the list, because it is amazing. It is the pinnacle of motorsport, that circuit. I've never been to Abu Dhabi and stuff like that. I can imagine they're just as amazing. But in terms of a European circuit, it's the best one in Europe by far, for the facilities that are there. I mean, obviously it's a Red Bull owned circuit. You know they're never going to do things by half. But it was just so good. It was just brilliant. We used to go testing their loads. We used to go racing their loads. And it was brilliant. There used to be a restaurant that opened till like midnight at night, just above the pit garages, which just served brilliant food at a cheap, affordable price for little teams like ourselves that we used to race. You know, obviously I was at a small team. You know, so if you're having a late night because you had a crash or you had to change your gearbox or something, that was always open to go get yourself a takeaway from, and you weren't eating shitty pizzas like everywhere else, you know. And the food was brilliant. The atmosphere was fantastic. You know, you had some really friendly people working there. Everything was Red Bull. So you had Red Bull Cola, you had Red Bull Lemonade, you had Red Bull fucking grapefruit juice or whatever it was. I can't remember. It was horrible. But yeah, everything was Red Bull. But just a phenomenal circuit in terms of facilities, without a doubt. You know, everything was so nice. The toilets, I mean, I know that sounds stupid to people, but when you used to, like, go to some circuits, it was just literally just a fucking hole in the ground. And this had, like, all proper touchless soap dispensers and touchless taps, so you just washed your hands. Incredible. A fantastic circuit, and like I said, that is what most circuits should be like, really, in my opinion. Because let's not forget, you know, it was... When you're in motorsport, a lot of people don't understand this, but you get there on, if it's a race weekend, you get there on the Wednesday night or Thursday morning. There is a chance that you will never leave that circuit because you never know what's going to happen. You could have a crash, you could have a engine blow up, you could have a lot of things happen which makes your life very difficult for a weekend. And when you had a circuit like Red Bull Ring, it made it that little bit more bearable if you knew that you could have a shower in the morning before all the people arrived back again. Before the drivers arrived back, or you knew you could have a decent bit of tea. Do you know what I mean? You could take 20 minutes just to go up to a restaurant, get some food, chill out for a bit, and then come back and start the slog again. So that's really important, you know. So definitely the Red Bull Ring for that it was fantastic. It was a fantastic circuit, and obviously, you know, the big massive bull statue just really adds to it. Yeah, and overall a perfect circuit. A lot of circuits need to take a leaf out of that circuit's book. Next up, we have Monza. What can I say about Monza? I adored it. It was a really funny story, actually. The first time I should have gone there was in 2012. We were supposed to be doing a test there, and I was in the truck with, obviously, the truckie, Chris. And unfortunately, we broke down on the way there. The truck broke down. One of the... Oh, what was it that had gone? One of the air pumps or something had failed and sucked water in. So obviously everything works on air brakes and stuff. So we were struggling with braking, and we had to pull into a lay-by, and we spent an entire day sat at the roadside waiting to get recovered. So we missed Monza, and I never went, and I never thought I was going to go. But in 2015, they finally put the circuit on the calendar. So yeah, 3 years overdue, but I went and I absolutely loved it. We always got a really good slot as well in terms of the race weekend. So we used to support the Blanc Pond Championship, which was amazing in itself. But we had a really, really good slot. So we were always like early-ish race start or early-ish qualifying time, but not so early that you had to get up in the middle of the night to get there and prep the cars. But not late enough that you were going to stay late. Even if you had a crash, sometimes we were still done for 8, 9 o'clock at night, which is unheard of. But yeah, it was really good because we used to finish at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we used to just go to the banking. And the banking is go to the banking. Go to Monza and go to the banking. It's amazing. You don't even need to technically have a ticket to get into the circuit. I'm pretty sure on a F1 weekend and stuff, they'll obviously stop that. But it's actually a park. Monza is in the middle of a park, so there's technically nothing stopping you from going anywhere except the paddock and the race circuit itself. There's nothing to stop you going to that banking. So if you're ever in Italy and at a loose end and you're in Monza or near Monza, go visit the banking. It's a lot steeper than you think. An incredible circuit. A lot of history there, a lot of heritage. We should have had a podium there. But unfortunately our driver locked up and flat spotted his tyres, and that was the end of that. But yeah, we never had really brilliant results there, but the spectacle, and you know the Italians are mad for motorsport in general, not just for Formula 1, because we used to support the Blanc Pond, as you know, so obviously the crowds were big, but we used to support the Blanc Pond for such as like Silverstone and things like that. The crowds were very, 50-50. It were 50 empty, 50% full. It was always absolutely rammed over the weekend at Italy, and it just made it all that more special. Now you sort of play into a crowd, it was brilliant, made it all that little bit more special. But yeah, Monza, a fantastic circuit, not just for its heritage, but for what I got to experience while I was there. Next up, we have a circuit that probably none of you have heard of, but wow, oh wow, did we have some fun there. It is a circuit called Most Autodrome in the Czech Republic, and it is located in a town called Most. And unbelievable. We have health and safety, but over there health and safety doesn't really exist in the Czech Republic, or certainly less lenient. And the amazing stuff that we got to see. They had an aerobatics display. We used to support, again, it was like the Gamma Race Day from Assen. in terms of it was a spectacle that had loads of different race events. We got the garages again, so that's always a bonus. But yeah, had loads of different events over the weekend. So you had the Kia Picanto Cup, which is basically like Renault Clios. If you've ever seen them boshing into each other at a TOCA touring car package, then you'll understand what the Kia Picanto Cup was all about. There was ourselves, there was a GT race, and then there was the European Truck Racing, the official FIA Truck Racing Championship. And wow, that was a spectacle. You were just choked. We had to shut the garage doors when the race was on. That was mandatory for the truck racing. We couldn't see it, but you could see it out back because the pit lane was lifted compared to the circuit, so we always watched it out back. But you had to shut the thing because the black smoke that the trucks put off as they drove past was unreal. So we just had to shut the garage door so we didn't get choked. But yeah, fantastic circuit, not just for that, but as I was saying, the aerobatics display was unreal. Now, he started off and he was doing some loop-de-loops in the air. I think, wow, that's really good. Then, he flies underneath the fucking start line gantry with the lights on. And you're talking like, I mean, there's probably a foot either side of him hitting the ground or hitting the gantry. And he flies under that for the big finish. Unreal. If that ever went wrong, we'd have all been dead, because we used to be able to watch that on the pit lane again. So we'd have all been dead, and all the fans in the grandstand would have been dead. Mental, absolutely mental. But yeah, we had some fantastic results there as well. We had 2 podiums in 2012 with a Brazilian driver called Gabriel Casagrande. We got 3rd and 2nd, and then in 2014 with Raul Owens, we got his first pole, well, my first pole in motorsport, and my only pole actually. And yeah, his first pole. And then we took 2nd place. And we finished 2nd best to Alex Albon. Whatever happened to him. And that was his first ever win in a single-seater race car after like 2-3 years or something for Alex. And it was a little team called KTR that won. And they'd had just a difficult year as we'd had that season. And everyone was so chuffed for us. And we were like more chuffed for KTR because, you know, and we were more chuffed for this lad called Alex, this little Thai driver that was so friendly to everyone in the paddock. KTR was such a fantastic team, run by a bloke called Spot. Don't know his proper name, we just had nicknames for everyone. I was Yorkie. But yeah, a fantastic achievement, and that was a fantastic race. That we loved that. It was a wet conditions, and yeah, like I say, it was just a really nice weekend. We had some fantastic results there. The fans were amazing again. Like I say, absolutely packed the grandstands were for this spectacle. And the one thing I ever remember taking away from it was a really funny moment when it was Sunday. We were packing up, we'd finished, but obviously the fans, being fans, were still walking in between the trucks and the garage doors. So obviously you used to have to load everything onto a tail lift and put the cars in and stuff, and all the bullshit that goes with it. And I just remember coming out the truck, and I was walking alongside the truck about to go back into the garage to pick some more things up. And there was this bloke that ran past with an entire front nose cone, a racing team called Position 1 that were in our championship. I thought, what's he doing with that? And then the next thing, there's 4 Position 1 blokes running after him, chasing after him. He tried to nick it. He tried to nick a nose cone worth like $5,000. I think they caught him in the end. But yeah, I was just like, God, that's mental. But yeah, lots of fond memories from Most, and I wish I could go back. I think, do you know what? I'd probably make a trip to go back to Most and do that race weekend again, because that was amazing, really good. And last but not least, it is Spa, the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Everyone knows it. I'm sure it's a fan favourite to many, but to be there working there is unbelievable. And it's actually the last race circuit I've ever been to in motorsport. It was my last ever test day at Spa. And I never went back to motorsport since. So that brings back some memories. But yeah, the circuit itself, we had some cracking results. We had a podium there with Raul Owens in 2013. 3rd and a 4th that weekend, so that was a solid weekend. That's some good points. And, you know, the general vibe of the circuit is just amazing. You know, it's difficult to explain, but when you visit a circuit, and it was one of those circuits where it didn't matter how many times I went, I was always excited to go. I always had that little bubbling feeling inside me, like, oh, we're going to Spa, you know. And it was cracking. I loved it. Absolutely loved Spa. Like I said, we had some good results there. We had some bad results there as well. The fans were never really there because we didn't support. Oh, we supported the 24 hours. That's what we used to do. The 24 hours of Spa we used to support, and it was a bit shit because we always got used to put into the end paddock. It used to be a skid pan where the police used to test how to, learning how to drive a police car and how to control it during skids and stuff. We used to be on that. Horrendous. That was horrendous. It was that far away from the actual pit lane. We used to have a pre-grid. So we used to have to line up at the pre-grid, then take the cars to the pre-grid, then put them onto the grid, and then do the warm-up lap and then do the race. So we used to have to get the cars ready like an hour before the race had even begun, which is crazy because normally you used to get 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But yeah, that was difficult at times. But, it never took away from the circuit itself, how brilliant that was. And yeah, incredible. Absolutely loved that circuit. Fond memories. And like I say, it was the last ever circuit I worked at, which, crazy when you think about it. But yeah, brilliant times that. Absolutely loved it. So there you go, guys. That was the 5 race circuits that I've worked at that I personally loved and enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and feedback. What are your favourite circuits? Have you ever been to see a Formula 1 race at any other circuit? Have you ever been to Silverstone to see it? Or maybe a circuit in Europe. Have you ever flown away? Have you ever gone to Australia? Things like that. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on the circuits that you really love. Whether you've visited them yourself or just whether you'd like to visit them. Like I said, just let me know your thoughts and feedback down below, guys. Let's have another chat about circuits we love, eh? And on Thursday, obviously, comes the 5 circuits that I despised. So, look forward to that. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and much love.